I have the feeling you might be going on an adventure pretty soon, and I almost kind of don't want to talk about the adventure because I'm kind of getting the feeling of you being this sweet little hobbit. Stay with me. You're like this sweet little hobbit who, like, people underestimate you, and people don't know really like how pure you are, how resilient you are, and how crucial you are to the plot, to the storyline. People think you're just this sweet little like person, or like they have these like perceptions of you or whatever, and it's just like, I was just getting this feeling like you just can't mess with a pure one, you cannot mess with a real one. Like, you're the kind of person who can hold the ring without being corrupted by its power. You're the one who is resilient enough to go through every single step of the process, even though you're the one who looks like, seems like, or like people have that perception of like you're just a regular person, or like, I don't know like what the perception is, but there's something here around like you being underestimated, you being like undervalued, underpaid, overlooked. And all the time you were this like crucial gem, this crucial piece of the puzzle, this absolutely pivotal central character who's like, it's like worlds pivot around you. Like, there's something so important about the role that you have to play. And like the thing about the hobbits is like, they're not really down for adventure that much. Like, certain ones of them are, but a hobbit's safe space is their home. Like a hobbit's, like, there's something about, you like to eat 6 meals a day, you know? Sit on your porch and blow smoke rings. Like, take this as a metaphor, please. Probably most of us aren't out here eating 6 meals a day and blowing smoke rings on our porch, but you know, take it as a metaphor. Like, you love your own space, you love your own home, you love your own company, and there's something about how, yeah, there's something about that comfort zone which might be challenged soon, and like you might have to like morph and like evolve. I'm seeing Pokemon now in my mind, like when they evolve to the next level, you might have to evolve into the hobbit version of you who is the resilient one, who is the cunning one, who is the one who can like outsmart enemies. And like, I don't know why this is coming through so strongly. It's coming through like an epic saga. It's coming through like an untold tale. I just heard there's something about an adventure, and there's something about it's like your true nature is going to be exposed, or like some like sleeping, oh yeah, I'm feeling it, some sleeping strength that's in you, or some sleeping like mastery or magic or something is going to be awakened, going to be called on, and going to be activated. Yeah. And you're not going to be alone. And this is not, it's funny because like obviously in like, it's a whole big hero's journey in a way, you know? And like, it just seems like you've been through so much already, and you have sort of started to recognize a lot of these qualities that you have, that you hold, how pure you are, how special you are. And you will know, because you will have proof of how you rose to a situation in a way that not many people would, how you forgave in a situation where not many people would. And I'm not talking about being a doormat. I'm not talking about just tolerating bad behavior. I'm not talking about that. I'm not talking about like toxic codependency here. What I'm talking about is that you have come through certain situations unscathed, still able to love, still able to be soft, still able to like hold compassion and empathy for people. Doesn't necessarily mean that you tolerate certain behaviors or like let certain people be present in your life where they don't deserve to be, or where they have shown themselves not worthy of being present. But like, you get what I'm saying. I hope that it's like you have walked through the fire and remained unburnt in a way. There's something about that, how pure you are, how like untouchable you are in a way. And like, what did I just hear? It's like something, what was that? It touched you, but it didn't move you. Something like that, where like, you're not cold, you're not hard. People can still, like, you can still connect to people. This is such an interesting one. It's like, before, people would be able to like pull on your heartstrings, and they'd be able to breadcrumb you or like say some little thing, and like it would like swing you right back into again, like that energy of like tolerating behavior or something like that, where it's like somebody would like try and put a band-aid over behavior or try and do something, and you would be like pulled. Like there was something where you were so overly forgiving or so overly understanding, where you would let yourself stay in situations longer than it was healthy for you. Please take this if it resonates and use your highest level of discernment here, okay? This is just the energy that I'm feeling and that's coming through. But there's something here about how you have managed to stand in your own power more and more and more. Like you're crafting this personal sovereignty and this strength, and this and it's coming from the pureness that you hold, and it's coming from an awareness that you deserve certain things in your life. Like you deserve people to meet you at a certain standard, you deserve to be respected, you deserve to be showed up for. This is not the turn that I expected this message to take, but like you deserve to be supported on your path. And you're learning that to a certain degree, you have to be your advocate, your own advocate, and you have to be your own protector when it comes to standing in your worth. And that doesn't mean like burning bridges with people. That doesn't mean like kicking people to the curb just because they're being a free and sovereign being and they're acting in a way that serves them. It's like you can allow people to serve them and to do their path and to do what they need. And at the same time, you can stand in your power, walk on your path, do the things that you need to do to fill your cup. And you're no longer looking at other people to fill your cup. You're no longer looking at other people to like fill in the parts of you that felt like they were empty. It's like you're taking on that like mantle, that cape of responsibility. And like, again, this is like, it's just so, it's not in a way that you're cutting other people off. And it's not in a way that you're like being hyper independent. And it's, nor is it in a way where you're like done, like fully relying on other people to take care of all your needs. I hope this is translating. It's like you're finally walking the middle path where you feel whole in and of yourself, you're able to hold yourself, and you're also able to allow other people to be there for you in healthy ways. Like you're not pushing anybody away, but nor are you like chasing them and like suctioned onto them, you know? I hope this is making sense. It just feels very like you've like found that little pocket of safety, of balance, of peace. And coming back to the hobbit, like there's that fellowship and that understanding between like people who are of different races and people who are very different. And I'm talking about like, you know, dwarves, elves, you know what I mean? And you could take that as a metaphor for like, you're just able to navigate the world meeting different types of people. And it's like there's this harmony and this like collaboration energy and this feeling of like everybody plays to their strengths as well. And the strength that you have that people kind of underestimate, because again, like the hobbit doesn't seem like the strongest character or the most important character. Like the hobbit is the one who, again, like just is the homebody and like loves to be chill, loves to be peaceful. And there's something about that as well where you, like at this point, you're learning to like respect your true nature in some way. You're learning to admit to yourself what you truly want and who you truly are. And it's like you might have had a moment recently where you were in a state of rest and you felt restless, and it like you're using every single moment of every day to be like a trigger and a mirror to you to really understand your own true nature. So like if you have struggled with resting, you're able to now have that part of yourself that looks at that part of yourself and says, why is this so hard for me? Why am I like sitting here but I'm like trying, like it's uncomfortable, you know, like why am I uncomfortable in rest? And you're looking at that and it's bringing this like lightness and this understanding to deeper parts of yourself that are, you know, that have been conditioned to overperform, that have been conditioned to work, that have been conditioned to like just live up to society's speed. And it's like you're finally realizing that like you're like a hobbit in the world of men, you know, like you're not meant to live that way. You're not meant to go at that pace. Like it's like you're finally coming home to the realization that who you are is worth celebrating. How you want to live is like a worthy way of living. And again, it's not as a way of like being rebellious against anybody else or being like a big F you to someone or like people who did you wrong. It's not a rebellious energy at all. It's not like a reactive energy where you're like, I've been working so hard for so long and I deserve some rest, and like, you know what I mean? It's not that kind of like chip on my shoulder energy. It's coming from a deeper place of respect and a deeper place of awareness for the journey that you've had so far, the struggles that you've already been through, the way that your nervous system is wired, and the type of like energy that you hold, and the way that you sort of deserve to feel in this life that you've been given. And so you're coming to that realization of like, yes, I'm pure, yes, I'm resilient, yes, I'm strong, and like, yes, I have all of this to give. And also it's like you're learning to like shine that all back in on yourself. You're learning to give. It's like you're learning to overgive to yourself, you know? It's like you're learning to like flip that and receive on a grander scale than you have ever allowed yourself to receive before. And this feels so like, it feels so big. This energy feels so big, and I'm really struggling to like condense it into words and like practical. The thing is, I feel like all of this busy energy, all of this doing energy has been a huge distraction. It's been a distraction for you, and you allowed yourself to be seduced into that energy because it also made you feel helpful, and it made you feel like you were of service, and it made you feel like you were doing something, like you were living up to some standard, like you were participating in life the way that it seemed like life was set up and that you were supposed to be doing things. There's a lot of like supposed to energy here, and a lot of like, oh, this is juicy, a lot of like silent pressure, a lot of like oppressive assumptions. It's like what you thought you were supposed to be doing is like based on these invisible rules that you just like extrapolated from how people were acting around you, from how people were reacting to you. And it's just like you kind of changed your behavior or how you tried to be in the world according to how you were being perceived, according to like what other people thought of as successful, or like there's something about how you never felt like you could fully just be in the world the way that you wanted to be, that your pace was too slow, that your rest was too much, that you weren't deserving of receiving. Like there's something about that where you always felt like guilty in rest, or felt like you should be doing it at a different speed, or like, oh, everybody else is doing this, or like she's doing that over there, he's doing this over there. And you for a while you kept being on that hamster wheel and doing things and like creating this frenetic energy and like kind of trying to claw your way forward. And even though part of you felt really safe doing that, because it was this illusion of how that's the way that the world is set up, and that's what I should be doing in the world, and that like if I'm not doing that, then I'm not worthy, or like there's something around that where it was just like, don't think about it, just keep going, like don't stop and rest, like keep going. And like every time that you stopped and rested, it was like, oh my god, I'm sitting down, but I could be doing the dishes, or I could be doing this or that. And like there's just this big distracted energy. And even though there's like this also deep craving for slowing down, for rest, for a different pace, for things to make sense, it's like that speed never made sense to you, but you just kept going because you felt like if you just kept going, like one day it's going to click, one day you're going to get it, and like one day it's going to all make sense to you, and one day it's all going to be worth it. And like there's something about that, the grind, the hustle, the pushing through. And like it only ever led you to burnout. And you never found any sense in it. You never found any, this is huge, you never found any stability in it, and you never found any like fulfillment or satisfaction in that. The harder you worked, it's like the less you did. It's like the more that you gave, like it's like you're just giving from this empty well the whole time, and like you just kept going and kept going. And for what, you know? Like there was never any payoff. There was never any like true feeling of rightness there. And to a certain degree, your nervous system has become accustomed to that speed and that level and that overgiving. And so there is a part of you that feels more comfortable there, not because it's safe, but because it's familiar. And so it's been this like, something has been lifted, a veil has been lifted, something has been broken. Like a trust has been broken there, where you no longer are feeling aligned with that system. You're no longer feeling like you have any fucks to give, basically, in that direction of doing things. It's like you got to the point where you're like, enough is enough. You got to the breaking point, the enough is enough point. And that is such a crucial and important part to get to, so that you can start to really break down and start navigating your way towards a life that is built on your terms, at your speed, built with you in mind, not just as a cog in a wheel, not just as like another brick in the wall, you know? You're stepping outside of the system, and you're starting to understand that your life should be based on you, your frequency, your energy, your preferences, your needs, and your wants. And so even though that's like, there's part of that that's scary, because it requires so much. Like it requires a feeling almost that you're turning your back on reality as you've known it so far. It requires turning your back on the way that life is structured, which is, it's all geared towards like buying more and working more and like, and being in the rat race, you know? And it's like you've reached that point where you're like, no, there's got to be another way. And you're building your own way. You're finding your own way. And maybe that is the adventure, is like finding your own way in this life, like allowing yourself to go at the hobbit speed, like allowing yourself to rest more, to stop, to like, and like, it's interesting because people who are still like seeing the other way as normal are like, what do you do with your time? And like, they're bamboozled by you and like offended almost, you know? And that it will trigger people, because people will be confused by it and they will be offended by it and they'll take it personally. And there might be a lot of those reflections coming towards you of like, and making you feel like, oh, maybe I should speed up, or like maybe I should do more, or whatever, you know? But you know what's at the end of that journey. Like, you know you don't want to live like that anymore. You know that that's not what's healthy for you anymore. And so it's like, because you've totally wiped that away, like wiped the slate clean, like you have laid down the burden of expectation. You're not a slave. I channeled that before in another message, something about like mental emancipation from mental slavery. You're no longer living your life according to what anybody else thinks you should be doing with it, the pace that anybody else thinks you should be living at, the things that they think you should be achieving, the hours they think you should be putting into a minimum wage job. Like, you're actually letting yourself decompress. And it's not a fast process for most of us. It takes some time to slow down. We have been talking about that, the slowing down here. And there's something here about that, where you just truly, that is the rebellion. That is the rebellion, is you being slow, you taking your time, you doing less. Like, do less. And that might be your New Year's resolutions. Do less. Do less. Oh my god, incredible. A beautiful butterfly just went past. I've never seen one like that before. Do less. And that might be significant too, like being the first one that people have seen doing, like living life this way. You might be the trailblazer. You might be the black sheep, like not even just of your family, but of your community, of your friendship circle, like of your town, you know? And society has kind of always needed us weirdos, you know? And to break the norm, to let people kind of see things a little bit differently, to give everybody another option than the status quo. And that's not to say that everybody is then going to start like following you and worshiping you, but like sometimes you do need to be a juxtaposition to the environment where you are. 23, as I just said that. Sometimes you need to be like, wow, I've never seen a butterfly like that before, and be the only one. Yeah, it's funny to be an outlier, because you can still, again, like I said, like the fellowship, like you can still connect with people and have deep friendships with people who are so utterly different than you. But there's something about shared values also. There's something about shared values and shared understanding, and like there will always be differences between you and other people, and that's what makes life beautiful. But like seeking out the people and like just trusting and knowing that the people who vibe with you are going to find you, and you're going to recognize that in each other, because both of you have a loyalty to something that like makes sense to your heart, like a loyalty to yourself, a loyalty to your spirituality, a loyalty to your family. It could be anything. And there's that shared understanding. It's funny, like, and sometimes you do have to shine a bit differently in order to attract the people who really are going to get you on that level. And like sometimes you do have to be like the brave one and make a stand. And then like you never know whose life you're going to save by living that way. Like you never know who you're going to inspire. You never know who you're going to uplift just by being yourself. And like not comparing yourself to others. And there's so much here. There's genuinely so much in this message. Like, don't compare yourself to others. Play to your strength. You don't have to be the one who wields the bow, who wields the axe, you know? You could be the ring bearer. And like that could be your task. And other people aren't necessarily going to understand. But that doesn't make your path any less worthy or any less important. And it also doesn't mean you have to go over explaining yourself to people or like trying to convert people to like a different way of living. Like just live on your path and just be the example. Allow people to fall away and allow people to fall in, you know, like there will be so many beautiful souls on your path. And I have that strong feeling that there's going to be so much support for you. Yeah, and this adventure, whatever this adventure is for you, it feels like it's going to be like talked about. It's going to be written. It's going to be studied maybe. I always kind of struggle with these kind of messages where it's like giving me the tandem energy of like, go on an adventure and also rest. And I'm like, well, which is it? Is it go on an adventure? Is it rest? Is it both somehow? But like everything that I've said still feels like it rings really true. Like there's no, now is not a time to push yourself or to just like frenetically do things. It feels like the energy that is strongly highlighted is just honoring your nature, honoring the rest that you need, honoring the pace that you need to go at, and just accepting that like the like events that come in, the adventures that come in, like they will find you. Like Gandalf is going to come and find you at your place of residence, you know? Like it's not like you had to go out and find the adventure will come to your front doorstep kind of thing. And I don't know exactly what that means for each individual watching this, but there's something here about like, yeah, coming back to honor yourself and your true nature and what you need, and just vibing in that, you know, without trying to be something that you're not, without trying to operate in a system that has been draining you. I think that's the message. I really wanted to, this was a long one today. I really wanted to sit here with my door open, so probably the cicadas have been really loud. But there's something about that, just that slow steadiness. Letting things take as long as they're going to take. Letting life be an epic adventure. If this resonated, please let me know down in the comments. And I'm going to leave it there for today. I'll see you so shortly in our next message together. Stay groovy.